So what my topic is creativity and innovation equals self-discovery. Creativity, is an idea. You get this idea. Innovation is the belief that goes with the idea to make it reality, right? So you have this idea. If it lacks the belief in it, I don't care what everybody else sees. If you see something, if you have this idea on this thing, and you lack that belief in it, it will remain a hallucination in your mind. What I've learned throughout my businesses is that creativity and innovation will always lead to success. However, I think it's very important to note that success is not a destination, it's a journey, and failures are just the price we all pay to reach success. And if you can start to kind of wrap your mind around looking at failure in a different way, I believe you will surrender yourself to creativity, not only in this challenge, but any idea and any venture that you have past college. Myself, I was classified as learning disabled up until the 11th grade, finding my way through adolescent years. Having my own family member predict that I would be pregnant by age 14. My life was never supposed to be along the road of significance, but mediocrity. However, I was introduced to the creative world at age 13 when dance became my outlet to express myself. Being a child of shy, contrite demeanor, dance became a way of emotionally and creatively expressing myself. And through that, I was able to build up the self-esteem and the confidence within myself to do better for myself. So by the end of 10th grade, I had launched my first business, and it was just a start of just believing in myself, taking that idea and not allowing society, even my family members, to tell me, you're doomed to live a life that I didn't feel I was here to live. Okay, by my 11th grade, I had my first brilliant idea. The idea was, what if I gave up my lunch period in high school and spent the time in the library studying encyclopedias? Maybe I could test out of this learning disabled class. And I did just that, knowing that I wanted more for myself. And I tested out of that learning disabled class by the end of my 11th grade. I graduated at the top 10 of my class with a scholarship to Savannah College of Art Design. And I share that story for two reasons. One, creativity and innovation in all forms should be acknowledged, okay? Because it starts very small. It starts with steps like that. And success, no matter how small or how big, should be celebrated. I also share that story because most people of great significance came from insignificance and our difficult times. No money, no education, no name, no connections. However, the commonality between them all was creativity, innovation, and a tenacity that just would not quit. Now, I'm going to take you guys through that tenacity and how it evolves and rebuilds itself. Okay, so let's take Cathy, for example. This is a guy that was discharged from the Army in 1945. Okay, by this time he was ready to take on opportunity. He always had this dream for this restaurant. He dreamed of working with his brother, Ben. And so after doing a little research on the business, they strapped together a little bit of money, located a site, built and opened a restaurant. However, Truett's setbacks and difficulties came early on. Both of Truett's brothers was in a small private plane headed to Tennessee that crashed. Both died. Of course, Truett was devastated, but his tenacity would not let him quit. 2 years later, he opened his second restaurant and was going wonderfully. I mean, they were profiting, they were doing really well. Then he gets a call one night that woke him, letting him know that a fire had broken out in his second restaurant, and by the time he got there, the fire had totally destroyed the operation. What's worse, though, is that Truett practically had no insurance. A couple of weeks later, he finds out that he has polyps in his colon that has to be removed. could not have come at the worst time. Instead of rebuilding his restaurant, he had to go in for surgery. One surgery led to 2 surgeries, and to his dismay, he was out of commission for months. But while Truett was in the hospital recovering, he was inspired by this creative idea. What if I took the chicken breast that I sell in my restaurant, seasoned and fried it just right, put it on a bun with the right condiments? Anyone know what that became? Chick-fil-A. The answer became Chick-fil-A and the start of the largest privately owned restaurant chain in the world. He's now recognized as being the inventor of the chicken sandwich. Who eats chicken sandwiches in here from the fast food restaurant? He invented that. Yeah, I don't eat it that much, but I'll help y'all out. But he invented that, guys. And now Chick-fil-A has over 900 restaurants throughout the country. The bottom line, that would never have happened if he did not experience those setbacks, maintain his perspective, and realize that a couple of negative experiences don't make for failure. If you don't get anything out of what I'm saying, what I want you to leave with is, I don't care what you want to do. There are going to be failures, but you can't let that be the roadblock that stops you from getting to success, because it's a journey. You say, thank you, failure. You taught me something. Now I want to continue because I got to learn something else. Every failure is only to make you stronger to get where you need to go. And if you can wrap your head around that new way of thinking about failure, then you will have the strength to continue creating, continue inventing, and continue staying on the road toward success. My second business was a film production company I launched in conjunction with my performing arts studio, my sophomore year at SCAD. By the end of my junior year, I was reevaluating my bank account because I knew I wanted to relocate myself and my business to California after I graduated. Well, my savings account wasn't growing as fast as I needed to grow, so I came up with this brilliant idea. What if I joined partners with my father? We opened up this real estate company that specializes in rehabbing and flipping houses, and maybe I could get that money. So the goal was to rehab and flip about 5 to 10 homes, okay, so I can have the money necessary to relocate myself and my business. There was a contingency plan in that where for one to 2 years I wouldn't maybe receive any income from California, which is typical for any artist really that's looking to break into an industry, you know, to have that contingency plan. However, my great plan went up in smokes in 2005 when the real estate industry went belly up. Okay, I was months into rehabbing my first multi-level property and closing on my second one. But all my real estate advisors, our mentors, told me to get out and get out quick. Well, at that time, I owed over $800,000. Having to face the possibility of bankruptcy at 22. California seemed super distant. Like I had to run a marathon to get there. And the fact that I was facing the possibility of bankruptcy threatened to wipe out my other 2 companies. Not only did I not make any money, I had to file bankruptcy. It was truly the most depressing time of my 22 years on earth. But, you know, failures have a way of doing 2 things: making you better or killing you. And not killing you literally, but, you know, killing your dreams, killing your aspiration to continue fighting. You know, but my tenacity just would not quit. I didn't know how I was going to survive. I didn't have no money in my pocket, but I literally went to California with $5 in my pocket. $5. And it was the best decision of my life. I learned what it meant and what it took to rebuild a company from the ground up. I learned the secret of success, which is not money alone. It's creativity, it's innovation, and it's a tenacity that would not quit. Within a week's time of being in California, I had met a business owner that owned a performing arts studio that needed my help. That opportunity led to my 4th business, which was offering personal assistance to performing arts studios. That opportunity led to a bigger opportunity to help a new starting performing arts studio in the Washington, D.C. area. By 2008, I was working out in California and Washington, D.C. I was living a life. I was traveling. I had arrived until 2010. Woo! When the economy took an economic hit. Those studios that I was assisting and pretty much everybody else, including the film industry, started to struggle financially, and they just could not renew my contract. The only good news was that I had relocated to Washington, D.C. at that time, and the fitness industry in Washington, D.C. was booming. Well, I had always been physically active, being a dancer and all, so that led to my fifth business, South Fitness Associates. Now, understanding that the fitness industry was evolving with these new workout apps coming out, DVDs, Xbox had workout features on it, to entire television sitcoms or segments being dedicated to like yoga, Zumba, Tony Horton's P90X home-based, program. I knew that the traditional health and fitness company was not for me. That I had to be innovative in order to stay competitive in the industry. So I launched an online fitness company, but not before this time consulting legal advisors and business consultants. One thing that you do when you fail and you put yourself out there to try is that you learn. You learn. The only way you can learn is that you try. And so I did learn from the others, and this time I said, listen, I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to consult people, and all of which are my strategic partners today. It is the reason that my sixth business exists, which is Salone Business Consulting Firm. Now, I know from what I've shared so far, it sounds like this girl has a lot of businesses in a short amount of time. I mean, most would have even agreed that they've been fairly different from one another. Which can lead one to believe that I have a slight issue with sticking with the business and our industry. That will all be fair. That will all be fair. However, let me take a moment to share just a little insight on my philosophy as it relates to achievement, which comes from Failing Forward, the book Failing Forward. Achievers vary approaches to achievement. In the Psychology of Achievement, Brian Tracy writes about 4 millionaires who made their fortunes by age 35. They were involved in an average of 17 businesses before finding the one that took them to the top. They kept trying and changing until they found something that worked for them. Achievers are willing to vary their approaches to problems, and they realize that the only way to truly get ahead is to fail early, fail often, and fail forward. Adversity lies at the heart of every success. The process of achievement comes through repeated failures and the constant struggle to climb to a higher level. Adversity and the failure that often results from it should not only be expected in the process of succeeding, but they need to be viewed as an absolutely critical part of it. In fact, the benefits of adversity are many. Adversity breeds resilience, develops maturity, pushes the envelope of expected performance, provides greater opportunity, promotes innovation, brings unexpected benefits, and motivates. Sometimes great achievements can come only from a point of failures that helps you understand who you really are. This philosophy of achievement definitely rings true in my life, and it rings true in John James Audubon's life. This is a man who